Well, well, well. well. Has it been an update and a half? Ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, we've had it all. Realistically speaking, we've had data mines, we've had speculation, we've had actual news, we've had bugs, we've had glory, we've had pain and suffering. There is still so much to break down. Let's talk about it. First of all, let's start off with the wise old words of when updates land, bugs happen. All right, they do happen. We had a little bit of weird snafu, lafu, rafu stuff happen when this update dropped. Notably, one of the big bugbears right now that CG are addressing is when they push this update live, they accidentally, deliberately on purpose, don't know, think it was a mistake, pushed through the update to the error leveling system. Now, if you recall, in their original post, they talk about introducing an additional 40 levels of error levels, right now, to our characters, right? What that did is it sort of readjusted the trajectory and how much materials we need to level up each level. And then they've introduced an additional 4 tiers to our upcoming Coliseum bosses in the next era, okay? Now, the upshot of this, ladies and gentlemen, is that people like my free-to-play account that kind of went heavy in one team and then kind of left the other teams are finding themselves in an interesting position. Take a look at my Partygasm. Major Partygasm, he's a guy that loves to have a good time, as you can tell. Look at that face, he's obviously been on some sordid island somewhere. He's only level 22, because, quite frankly, I didn't need to level him up. I was like, I've got my Cassian at 5 stars. I could level him up, or I could just take all those resources and throw it elsewhere. Now, before this update went live, I had the materials to take him to 65, because that's kind of where we're supposed to be able to get to, 65 on all units across the board by the end of the era, okay? Or era. However, with the readjustments to levels, something a little bit funky has happened. Observe my stuff. For some reason, I am now missing Mark 1 Grek ability modules, probably because they've updated the requirements. They've spread out how long we need to use certain tiers of requirements. Before, you wouldn't need to use this beyond like level 15. Now he's level 22 and he still requires them. The problem is I have 0 access to Mark 1 Greks now. Can't get these Grek ability modules outside of spending crystals or cash, right? So because I didn't level him up earlier, where I was constrained by data cache, right? Data cache, not data cache. Error leveling currency. Now I can't level him up unless I'm willing to spend crystals or real-world money. Now this is a free-to-play alt account. It's never going to spend any money. Yes, I could spend my crystals to get this, but I shouldn't have to, and neither should you at home if you find yourself in a similar situation. Now CG says they are addressing this. So here we go from Meathead last night. After further investigations through your reports, we have recognised a lack of error resource issue some folks have run into. We plan to provide additional materials to account for this in an upcoming hotfix. For those of you who have purchased impacted merch after today's release, you will be compensated with crystals. Now I'm not going to say go ahead and use your crystals right now because you'll get those crystals back. No, don't do it. Just wait. Just wait. Now, my biggest concern here is they need to get this hotfix before the end of the era concludes, because we need to be able to take these characters up to gear 12. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a situation where we have to gear our units. And that is the big draw of the era system. I know it has a lot of issues, but one of the benefits to the era system is that because we are free to play and because we play Coliseum every day and because we do all this stuff, we get them to error level 65, which translates into gear 12 units, which means we don't have to spend a lot of Chirotech. We save ourselves 300 Chirotech for each unit that we take up to this level. That is a really, 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 really big benefit of the error leveling system. It is the sort of crown jewels in the crown, as it were. Now, if that gets taken away from us because we can't, there isn't a lot of time. There isn't a lot of time, and let's face it, like CG, I don't work weekends, and I wouldn't expect them to either, right? We've only got 5 days and 4 hours, and 2 of those days are a weekend. So they basically have either today, tomorrow, or maybe Monday to try and sort this out before it's too late. before it's too late and people then lose that value. Now, CG can still correct this after the fact, but I don't want people to be put in that position, okay? So hopefully that happens, right? But that, of course, is not the end of the bugs that we're expecting right now. Experiencing. If we take a look at the Dryax, whose name, by the way, I will never not find funny. This is my team. This is my squad. Oh, Captain, my Captain. 5-star Cassian level 70, 65 on Vel and Cinta, and 70 on Claire Marquis. We'll go in on tier 7 and we'll see a little bit of dumbfoundery happening. We're just going to go ahead and drop it like it's hot over here. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to hit auto because I'm pretty sure that the game will be able to display this in an appropriate manner. Now, you might already notice that the counter is going up very slowly. Not quite how you would expect it when you consider that I've just killed a Dryax and we're at 16%. Wouldn't one Dryax be 50% of the damage? And now this Dryax is now 50% of the way dead, and we're only at 22%, 23%, 24%. And he's slowly chipping away and getting deathed. Supreme death is what's happening right now. Now this is interesting, this whole health difference. You know, it's saying that there's a 7% health difference. I don't know how you can have a health difference between 0 and what you've got. The other guy's dead. You can't have it. Well, whatever, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, what you will notice is you get to this point and you just can't do any damage anymore. We get to 28%. Now watch this. 458. 638. 633. 50. Yeah, okay, yeah, give it a moment. Eventually, we're just going to do 1 damage. 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. And it will go like this forever. Even though he looks like he's about to die. So essentially, tier 7 is balked. It is balked, ladies and gentlemen, and you will not be able to fix it, not until CG addresses what's going on here. Now, supposedly, they are also addressing this. Now, I'm not massively concerned. I would like to get these, but obviously, it's not that big of a deal, because once you get past that threshold, it's actually, once I get past it, it's okay. The bigger, more pertinent point to me is the leveling up, right? They do need to address Coliseum, because tier 7 is not doable right now. Tier 8 is apparently okay. I haven't really had any issues on my main account. But it also brings in another problem. Let me swap over to my main account so I can show you a different problem there. I do love this splash screen, by the way. I think this is really well made. It's a really well made splash screen. Okay, so we have got a completely separate issue over here. At the very top end, because of that same readjustment of the materials, I was actually able to take a bunch of my units to 95. I'm not dumb. Well, no, I am dumb, but I'm not that dumb with my money. Going to error level 95 is ridiculously expensive. Like, it's obnoxiously expensive to try and take a character to 95, and all 95 realistically does, right, is gets you from Relic 2, which is where you'd normally be. You're usually in the 85 section if you want to get the 7-star unlock, right? You get Relic 2. Going to 95 is Relic 6. It's 4 Relic levels, okay? Now, those 4 Relic levels are not worth the cost it takes you to go from 85 to 95. It's like hundreds of dollars extra per character to do this. So I would never do this. I had my characters at 85 across the board. With the change to the structure, I was able to get them to 95 across the board without spending any money. It just gave it to me for free. I could only take Partygasm over here up to 89. I don't have these Mark 7. It's not even Mark 7s, it's Mark 5s. It's Mark 5 crashability modules. That's the weird thing, right? It's the old materials. So it shows how this, structure is changing. It shows how the error leveling system is being dragged out quite a lot more. Those additional 4 tiers that they're introducing into the Coliseum is probably just going to give us more resources overall, right? So I could drop the money here, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, I could get it. I need like 4,200. So, I mean, I would have to buy this like 4 or 5 times. So we're already talking, like 70, 80 bucks to get 2 characters, basically up to Relic 6. I'm still not going to do that. I don't think it's worth, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze there. But this has caused some people some issues because they feel like I've spent money to get to 85 and other people's got from 75 to 85 for free without spending money. I get that. I mean, I get it feels like you've been devalued and stuff like that, but realistically, you haven't lost anything. Other people just got it for free. You know, it's like going to a burger shop, buying a burger for $5, and then at the end of the day, they're giving away those burgers for free, right? And you're like, well, I had to pay for mine. Can't I have my money back? It's like, it's not really the same thing. I get it. It wasn't a deliberate thing by CG to let us do this. They're letting it ride, as they say in the post. I understand why people might feel a little bit disgruntled by it. Personally, I'm happy because I got what I feel is really massive value out of that. But I know there are people on the other side that feel like they missed out, okay? My main thing is everybody should still get to 65. That's the most important part to me, is that everybody should get to 65. Now let's talk about broader issues. Not broader issues, let's talk about exciting stuff that came out with the rest of this era. First of all, we found out what the actual journey guide is. The journey guide unit is Rotta the Hutt. I thought it might have been Colonel Ward, who's Sigourney Weaver's character. Turns out, no, it is not. It's going to be Rotta the Hutt. The missing characters that we had from that era is going to be Colonel Ward, Grogu and Anzellans, and one other person. Oh no, that is everybody, isn't it? Yeah, that is everybody, because the error system is now going to be, it's going to be Carson Teva, we're getting Zeb Aurelius, we're getting R5, we're getting Snowtrooper Commander, yeah. We are getting Grogu and the Anzellans, and we're getting Colonel Ward, so that's the 6 units, right? And then we are getting a Rotta the Hutt as the journey guide unit. I thought he was going to be like a, I thought he was going to be the elite marquee for the tier. Turns out, doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now, if we go back and look at that splash screen, we will find a few other things. So over here, we can see all it is. There's the legendary unit. There's Colonel Ward over here. Zeb. You've got Carson Teva down here, R5 over here, Grogu and the Anzellans over here. We've got the Razor Crest being chased by some pilots. I don't know if that means we'll get a future Razor Crest. We do have some X-Wings over here. Now, I'm wondering if that's the Adelphi Rangers. So is Carson Teva, is R5 going to be a support ship here? Are we going to get a ship for Zeb? Are we going to get a ship for Colonel Ward? Are they all going to form a new fleet and we'll get a new Republic fleet? Maybe. Maybe, hope so, because we need a new fleet. And then, of course, the centerpiece over here is the Mandalorian and Grogu. We're assuming he's the next Galactic Legend. There's a little bit of suggestion that, yeah, that's going to be the case. It feels like the obvious answer, right? And here we go. So this is the post that CG Meathead put out last night. Again, it was after I did my video, so I'm covering it all now. If you didn't read the Two Shorts note on the client update, you find them here and here. We've already been over those. Guess who's back? Back again. New Coliseum boss. The Coliseum boss. Is that new game mode? I'm not sure. I'm just joking. I'm tired, guys, all right? So the Crate Dragon is not going to be a return to that raid. It's going to be, the Crate is going to be the next boss in the Coliseum. And it looks like it's an addition. Okay, it looks like it's an addition. We're not having 4 bosses on rotation. It looks like we're having 5. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if we look at the data mined assets, you can see that they're giving portraits for the Dryax, for the Zephyr Tomb Guards, for the Crate Dragon, for the... Who am I missing here? The Jotaz, all right? And for the other one, the Pirate ATST. Got there eventually. My brain is working on overdrive, baby. So it looks like we're getting a rotation of 5. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite that, or if the Crate Dragon will be like, after you've beat tier 8, you're only going to fight the Crate Dragon, right? If you get to the top end, it's just the Crate Dragon. I don't know. I'm just making assumptions here. Okay, we are having new FDCs for Andor, ISB, Darth Revan, and Luminara Unduli, which is a weird choice, but it looks like it could be sort of a lifter for Galactic Republic Jedis with no GL. Thinking Queen Amidala, maybe Keller and Beck, maybe Army Qui-Gon Jinn, that sort of thing. Darth Vader Duel's End is now farmable on one of the new hard nodes. We'll talk about the new nodes in a second. Disguised Clone Trooper has been accelerated. Okay. Now then, with the update, we did also see that they did further confirm we are getting a Galactic Legend, and that this upcoming era is going to be a part of it. All right, so I don't know if they've added it in here. They haven't added it in there just yet. But if we go into... I'm sorry, my brain is not working very well today. Going into messages. No, where am I going here? Allies? No, it's inbox, isn't it? My brain is just not working. So newsletters over here. If we go down to the bottom, we can see that R5D4 is one of the requirements at 4 stars to initially unlock the journey guide unit for the era Rotta the Hutt. He will also be a requirement for the Galactic Legend released later this year. Unlock R5 in the upcoming Red Let's Go marquee event, where you can kick off the era of the New Republic with a bang using his unconventional but impactful droid. So write that down, ladies and gentlemen. This entire era most likely is going to be required for a new Galactic Legend. I will not be surprised if they are high relic level requirements, okay? So just make the assumption every unit in this era is going to be a requirement for what is most likely going to be a GL, Mando, and Grogu, okay? Now, some people will say it's not going to be Grogu and Mando, it'll just be Mando. Maybe it will, who knows? The only reason I'm saying it most likely is those is because he's holding the damn baby in his arms in the picture on the splash screen. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like he's right there. It's a pair of them. Sure, the BAM that we've got in the game right now doesn't have his Rising Phoenix, this little jetpack, right? So we could say, oh, it's just a a Mandalorian Din Djarin with the jetpack in his Beskar armor, because realistically, this isn't really any different from BAM, right? So I think he's probably going to be holding Grogu. Is he going to be leading Mandalorians? Maybe. Is he going to be New Republic? I doubt it. I doubt it. I'm assuming that Grogu and the Anzellans are going to be a New Republic unit. I don't think these guys are going to be New Republic, but maybe they will. I don't have a sausage. I don't have a clue. But anyway, we can make the assumption that this is our next Galactic Legend. I'm actually more excited for Rotta the Hutt. I like Mandalorian, don't get me wrong, I love him. But I'm actually more excited for Rotta the Hutt. I'm really hoping that he's going to be a lifter unit for Jabba the Hutt. But I would not be surprised if he operates a little bit more like a lifter for unused Hutt Cartel allies that we have. Alright, because if we look at the Hutt Cartel faction, there are plenty of units here to make two teams, but without a second powerful leader, you can't really do much. Now, the core team for a Jabba the Hutt team always consists of Jabba, Santi, Bausch, right? That's the core trio. After that, the others you can kind of mix and match, right? It doesn't make a big difference. You know, in TW, you like to use Embo because he's got that TW Omicron. Sometimes you can use Giftguard Lando. If not, you can use Boba Fett. You can sometimes use Cad Bane or Greedo. And let's be real, nobody uses Gamma Guard and Mob Enforcer. Let's be real, right? So it feels like they can throw in Rotta the Hutt as a separate leader. Personally, I really hope it's just power consolidation and make Jabba a bit better. I hope so, okay? But we don't know. It also feels a little bit weird because Cobb Vanth coming into the game is very much anti-scoundrel. And I have to assume that Rotta the Hutt is going to be a Hutt Cartel and is going to be a scoundrel. I have to assume that, because otherwise they have to build a whole new team for him, and I don't know where that goes. Because it doesn't feel like this next era that we're getting right now is releasing any units for Hutt Cartel. So I'm assuming he's lifting up Mob Enforcer, Gamma Guard, maybe Cad Bane and Greedo. Like, I'm feeling maybe that's his team. It's a little bit weird, a little bit funky, but I'm hoping he's just a Jabba lifter. Man can dream, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. All right, we're still cracking on. Campaigns. Big bonuses. This tier 9 of Cantina battles is huge. Not only do we get characters that are usually quite annoying to farm, you know, you got GG, you got Wampa, you got Hermit Yoda. I really wish that they'd have put something like Ki-Adi-Mundi in here, because I feel like Ki-Adi-Mundi is still the red-headed stepchild even though he's got no hair. He's so hard to get, so expensive to get, and he's not even that impactful in the game. It doesn't feel, it feels unjust. He needs to be more freely farmable. What's really cool about these nodes is the first time rewards. You can get like 10 Zetas, 10 Omicron mats in some of these tiers. Really good rewards. Not only that, these nodes are giving you a split on signal data, so you can farm 2 different types of signal data at once. So over here, you've got the tier 1 and the tier 2, and you can get Omicrons, right? Over here, you can get Chirotech. Right? This isn't the node you want to be farming for Chirotech, it's over here. Look, this node can drop both Chirotech nodes. Isn't that cool? This one over here is tier 3 and tier 1. I probably wouldn't farm this one. But if we check out this tier over here, we can get tier 3 Chirotech and tier 3 signal data and tier 2. Now when I did this, I did 20 battles and I had god-awful drop rates, like terrible drop rates. And I was a little bit miffed. I was like, what's the point of having this new node if the drop rates are garbage? You know, we can't judge based on 20 sims, ladies and gentlemen. I did 20 sims and I think I got 6 or 7 of each. Let me get it up. Let me get it up for you live right now. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'm going through my posts in my Discord. My Discord has been popping off lately. You all should join. You all should join. Come and have a chat with the rest of the tribe. So over here, these were my sims. I did 20 battles and I got 6 of the blue signal data and 7 of the others. I think I just got really bad drop rates because other people were posting their drop rates when they did it. I'll find that for you now so you can have a look. Yeah, so this dude over here, he did 5 battles and got 6 and 3. That's so much better than what I got, right? And then there was this dude over here who did 21 and got 22 and 15. Now this feels like this is a high roll, because normally you do, if you did triple refreshes on Cantina Energy and you try to farm the blue signal data, you might get about 15 pieces, which is where I was hoping we would land, like 15 for 20 sims. So getting 22-15, it actually now becomes a high value proposition point. If this is the normal drop rate and I got skunked, then fair enough. I'm hoping this is more sort of what we would expect to really help us with that signal data crunch, okay? Because CG is making this big push, boys. CG is making this big push to try and push higher and higher relic levels, and this is how it starts. It starts with easing the access to difficult to acquire materials. So we've seen it now. Signal data is getting a little bit easier. We're getting much higher relic levels coming out of the era system by the looks of things. Depends on how they address it from a free-to-play perspective. All we need to see now is more shoring up of things like impulse detectors, Zimbiddles, Girder keypads, all that sort of good business, aero droids, aero magnifiers, and droid brains. If they up those gradually, you'll see more and more people get into Relic 9, get into Relic 10. And that's only good news for us, right? Cool. I think I might have covered everything off there, ladies and gentlemen. I love having these conversations with you. Always excited to see big news updates. Always excited to see what's coming out in the future. We still don't know a couple of things, okay? We know double drops is coming for May the 4th. Don't know if we're going to get triple drops. We knew Lightspeed bundles are coming. We know there's going to be something. We have yet to hear about a new raid, so I'm hoping that we're going to see more and more news. As it stands right now, there is no confirmation that the upcoming era of the New Republic is used in a new raid. They are definitely used in a new Galactic Legend, alright? Not necessarily a new raid. However, you can never go far wrong farming new units. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.